Hello everyone, my name is Maria and I'm Managing Director of Fastuna.com, which is a market research platform for rapid consumer tests. And today, together with Katya from Bayer Consumer Health, we will be talking about how to apply agile principles to earlier stage innovation development and testing. And before we move on, I really would like to start with the question. So how do you feel for your business, the business you work on or in? What comes first, a business goal or a consumer need? And you are very welcome to type your answers in the Zoom chat box below. Personally, for me, I'm passionate about that successful business is the one that connects business goal with consumer needs. And I'm passionate about this connection. And the same should be applied to innovation development as well. So there are three things that we can learn from agile organizations and apply them into the way we develop innovation and test them. And when we apply those principles, we actually help our organization to build in consumer feedback into decisions they make. And by doing so, we really connect business goals with consumer needs. And those three things are speed, embrace an iterative approach, and focus. Let's talk about being fast. The most important thing about being fast is actually that it unlocks the power of consumer feedback for the business. Unlocks the power of consumer feedback is really important, and I will explain how. So if you had a chance like myself to work on the businesses for 15, 20 years from now, you probably remember how long it used to take to get a consumer test results ready. So your team members would be coming to you probably and asking, so when the results are ready? Because the lag between idea creating and getting the feedback was really long, like weeks perhaps. And by the way, as we speak, you can see on the screen the launch of a quick consumer test. One of the team members uploads the ideas that they just generated into the software. So let's move back and talk about the long time of awaiting feedback and what it does psychologically to team members and within the organization, including actually your stakeholders and leaders. They all become really anxious about getting this feedback, and they are fearful of failure. So as long time they wait for the results, it's actually built into this fear of failure and makes it bigger. So speed of feedback actually reduces this anxiety to almost a zero, as now you can get this feedback as soon as team comes back from lunch during the ideation session, which is great. So they don't really have time to worry about the results yet. And what it also does, it teaches team to learn from this feedback in a very positive way. So instead of killing the ideas, you can rework them, significantly increasing the propensity to success in the marketplace. The next principle to utilize within your work is iterativity. So what does that mean? So iterative approach makes consumer feedback desirable on each stage of innovation development. And the big mindset breakthrough for me personally here is that accepting the fact that the learning is not linear. So the later learnings is actually further down the development pipeline, they can feed into earlier stages. And they very well actually doing and embracing this idea in the design thinking approach, where at the stage of product development and prototyping, you can come back to the deeper exploration of consumer customer needs and requirements. So how to execute this principle in market research? What you need to do, you need to split the learnings into the small bite-sized portions. You are not feeding your team and your stakeholders with everything at once, everything you know, everything you learned from the research. So you structure your research in a really actionable way. So your need state, the consumer problem and solution. And this slide really illustrates the process that we've just undergone with one of our clients during their innovation workshop. And during this process, they tested all components of the product within just one week. And what does that mean? That means that they actually were really relaxed into coming back, because they had to rework quite a lot of initial ideas after they did this few rounds of the research, and after they did some prototyping as well. And so they got this valuable feedback. But when they came back to, let's say, day one, they didn't actually came back to the same place where they started. So it was really, really valuable. And also I want to talk about importance of being focused. And here where consumer need is really connecting with the business goal. So for example, if you sell drills, for instance, it is good to get your business a good reminder that consumer doesn't really need a hole in the wall. They need to hang a picture. So your business in your research should be really focused on the problem solving. And focus always also means that you focus your surveys on decision making. And honestly, don't get me wrong, I love deep dives myself, and I came from the place of the very long surveys. But you know, every survey, every research should serve the purpose. Often lots of questions we ask in the surveys are just nice to haves, meaning they are unnecessary. They are necessary for decision making. And what it does, it actually creates a lot of waste of time, money, and resources. And in the end, you have like 80% of your research has actually been wasted. So when we created Fastuna, we looked at the different models of decision making to make our research solution truly actionable. And we really liked the Dentsu model that was developed at the beginning of the 21st century. And it reflects the decision making in the digital world. So we took it and modified to also bring emotions into the equations. And then you ask how your research actually can deliver the maximum value to the business. And it does so if it provides actionable feedback using the set of clear KPIs that are linked back to your business objectives and goals. So just to summarize, I would like to point out that implementing those three things or principles of Agile, fast, iterative, and focused into what you are doing will make your role really critical within your business and your organization. It will make your role more proactive and impactful. And you know what? And you will always have a very clear answer if you will be asked about ROI of the market research, because it will bring all the value back to the business. And by saying that, I will give a word to Katya from Bayer, who will tell you about how they applied those three principles into the earlier stage ideation session. Katya, please.
Thank you, Maria, and hi, everyone. I would like to share with you an example of how Bayer used fast, iterative, and focused framework in real life. So in November 2019, which seems like a long time ago now, Bayer hosted its first Global Innovation Days, and we called it I-Days. I here stands not so much for innovation and inspiration, which already very quickly became corporate cliche. I stands for you, or for me, or every individual who joined the event. So we wanted to land an idea that everyone can be innovative and creative, and everyone can come up with a brilliant and viable new idea. So let's go one by one. First, fast. I-Days lasted for only 3 days, but they were packed with happenings and quick learning bites. So we started with an inspiration talks from external and internal speakers, followed by a series of masterclasses on ideation and rapid prototyping. Then we moved on to a full-day hackathon with a unique opportunity to pitch back to the business. and grab the attention of the whole company, including our management team. Iterative. I'd like to give you a very specific example of how we embrace the agile mindset. So hackathon teams were made of Bayer employees, mingled with Basel startups. After the formal briefing from the business, so we had the challenge owners, teams use systematic inventive thinking, and those are special techniques to come up with initial ideas. So those techniques are designed to break your mindset fixedness. But to make those ideas very tangible, specific, and actionable, we use so-called idea of the marketplace. So marketplace is where teams were to do series of very short pitches, and they would pitch to the business, but also to the illustrators who captured their concept. Also to our star guest, Chris Dancy, who is known as the most connected man on the planet, and he's a practitioner in applying those technologies within the healthcare business. Fastuna was our partner too, so this is where we met with Maria, and they helped us a lot, and they helped the teams to prepare and submit their ideas into their platform, so that overnight, I think in under 3 hours, each concept was validated by 100 of real UK consumers. And you would imagine that pitching to the illustrators, Chris or Fastuna, requires you to be very specific about your idea and very clear how it works, what makes it unique, how it solves the challenge. So this was a great way to move from very broad and vague ideas or theories into smart innovation concepts in 1 day. And finally, focused. So we always stayed focused both on understanding new ways of working, but also applying those in the real business environment. Hence, large business pitch event was used to infuse the whole organization with this innovation sparkle from the hackathon teams. So during the pitch, everyone who joined got a right to put virtual money for the best concept. But obviously, as a business, Bayer was very interested in using real consumer feedback when they were reviewing the ideas and when they kind of made a decision if those can be used further on, partially or fully applied. In some cases, consumer feedback got from Fastuna was very different from business pitch results. And to stay truly focused and very consumer-centric, you always want to get this external view, and you always need to walk a mile in consumer shoes. Today, research industry is being transformed. There are new rules and new ways of working, and Fastuna is one great example of this positive change. To summarize, using the principles of being fast, iterative, and focused during only 3 days, Bayer ensured a huge curiosity boost. So every third out of 1,000 people in HQ office joined and participated. We started to break this mindset fixedness. People got a chance to apply these agile ways of working and to really feel they too can be innovative and they too can create ideas. They got the very unique experience of working in multifunctional but also cross-divisional teams mingled with startups. And business owners received 7 new concepts already packed with consumer reviews, and in some cases, very detailed and useful feedback. So any innovation journey starts with a mindset change. Today, we're talking about how remote work proved to be very efficient, and all this rhetoric about new ways of working is not a theory anymore. And it opens up a lot of opportunities for innovation workouts. And we, with Fastuna, grabbed those opportunities. And Maria now will talk about how we turned this whole idea into virtual mini-hackathons. And basically how each and every one of us can use those methods and new ways of working to test new ideas and to meet new people and to have fun. Maria, over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you, Katya. And we really enjoyed working with Bayer on and really being included into the process, you know, like kind of trying to help teams to shape up, you know, ideas before they go to the consumer, but then to kind of give this feedback as well and help teams to interpret the results. That was really great process to be with. And as Katya said, within the last 5 minutes that we have, I want quickly to share with you our experiences of running virtual online mini hackathons during the last few months of COVID-19 pandemic. So the challenge that we had, so if we can take this amazing process of the hackathon, you know, and which would normally be face-to-face and which would normally be like 2-3 days, and compress it just in a couple of hours. And we love challenges. So we did that. So we took design thinking process and really simplified it as much as possible. We did just 3 steps out of 5. And we started with ideation in groups using a really cool tool, which is called Nureva's Funboard, where a team could really interact and collaborate. So this is really interesting things, that what is challenging you is actually to explore what it is available, you know, in the market already, and what you can use to make those interactions really kind of give them the feel that as if you were present in the room. So it was incredible. So each team created more than 5-7 ideas on the spot, which was amazing. So then they went through the rigorous selection process, where they applied joint consumer and business selection criteria. And then the selected ideas were tested overnight. So the key takeaways from this exercise. So the main key takeaway is that those types of interventions are really, really possible. So don't afraid to go and experiment with it. There's some kind of other learnings. So first of all, you kind of need to have a very clear task, especially if you, what we did, we really kind of squeezed the exploration and empathy stage into the kind of very just giving them the task that was really related to the human need, to the common human need, so everyone can relate to it. So they didn't really need to go through a lot of exploration up front that we would normally do before the hackathon. But you also, obviously, if it would be a real business challenge, I would obviously suggest you to go and explore it and give the team the good, maybe homework before they come to the mini hackathon. So you absolutely need to have a good software to collaborate. It's critical, because you need to have, as you see this, like in this, you can see this one of the example of the span board that we used. So it was really important. Also make it fun, make it playful, add some drinks and nibbles, and make, you know, maybe do some like kind of warm-up exercises with the team as we normally do, you know, so that make them feel like present and really wanted to connect. So adding time pressure really actually helps to focus. That was one of the big learnings for me as well. And always try to use a good facilitators you can collaborate with, because it's important to kind of make team, you know, to get out of this exercise as much as possible. And that's what makes the process really, really human. Thank you very much. And we have a small gift for you, a very simple design thinking guide that you can use to facilitate idea generation workshops for your teams. To download the guide, you need to go to www.fastuna.com or scan this QR code just below. Thank you very much. And now we're open for the questions.